Hi everyone, welcome back to the Sports Knowledgists podcast. This is season 4, episode 2. I'm Lexi Brenner.
I'm Brad.
James.
I'm Pat.
And we are back for another episode of everyone's favorite sports podcast. So it is March 16th. The big news of the month, hence the name March Madness, is March Madness. So it started today. Besides the playing games, it started today. We all made brackets. We're all in the VTV challenge group. I am personally doing terribly. I don't know how you guys are doing. But what's everyone's kind of thoughts on the tournament overall? Thoughts on your personal brackets? Thoughts on the teams in it and maybe even teams out too? What are we feeling?
Well, I love March Madness. It's my single favorite sports event of the year, bar none. So this is my favorite time of year. I love this. Personally, my pick is UCLA to win. They've had a really good team for the last few years, and they've just sort of been building up this pedigree as like a team that can make a deep run. They had their crazy Final Four run a couple years ago where they almost knocked off Gonzaga. So I think this is the year they put it all together. They did have an injury right before the tournament. I believe Jalen Clark is one of their best defenders, and he's hurt now. But I still have a lot of faith in them. I think they've got a lot of talented upperclassmen that can lead them on a deep run. So that's who I'm running with.
Yeah, so I would agree. It's probably my favorite time for sports for the first 2 or 3 games. After that, my bracket's usually gone, so it's not as fun to watch. But I just came back after watching that Princeton-Arizona game, and that was ridiculous. And it really made me realize, like, every year you have that 15 seed, maybe it'll be a 14 seed, and then, like, that one year we had, the 16th, UMBC, right?
UMBC.
You never know. You can't predict it. It's always the one that no one guesses, and it's the one you least expect, and that's exciting, but it sucks for my bracket. And I know I had Arizona winning at least one bracket, but I made a bunch, so it's what it is. But
Yeah.
I personally think that it's gonna be I think Houston probably is gonna win it, but they always crack under pressure. So I think a sleeper pick would be Duke, because they're underrated this year, but
They're on a good win streak right
exactly,
now.
yeah, and they're a lower seed, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the first 2 days was like the universal sign for all students to just not pay attention and just watch college basketball all day. I was looking forward to that, and then a class got canceled, so I couldn't do that. But no, I think up until this point, I think the game's been really good. Like, I think I've predicted every wrong upset, and then all the other upsets have ruined my bracket. So, but that's just March, and it's just a really fun time just to watch a lot of basketball. I'm rolling with Alabama. Not proud of it, but I got a buddy, shout out Kevin, goes to Alabama. He's always telling me he's got a football school, now he's got a basketball school. So
You better send him the link to this podcast so he can shout out.
Yeah, he's gonna watch.
Get this going around Alabama.
Yeah, don't worry.
Circulate this.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Tide for this postseason. I think they just have a really strong team. I feel like they've always hovered around like the top 10 all year, and they've been a really good team. Was hoping for a deep Charleston run to like the Sweet 16, and then they lost today. So.
They did.
Yeah, they did. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that one was unfortunate.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
especially for Lexi, I guess.
I don't think I've picked a single game right yet. It is 7:28 p.m. on the first day of the first round. I don't think I've gotten a single one right.
That's tough.
Charleston is my Cinderella. I'm really disappointed.
I think it was a lot of people's Cinderella, though. Like, everything I've seen on social media has been, like, Charleston, and I'm like, you know what? Sure. Like, if I didn't go here, that was one of... Oh, my God. If I didn't go here, like, that was one of my, like, options for schools. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Charleston. Go for it.
There you go. Yeah, they did not pull it out at the end, so... It's unfortunate, but we've got a lot of basketball left, so hopefully they make a deep run. And then on the women's side, we have Villanova at a 4 seed. I think we have a really, really good shot of making it pretty far into the tournament. So, hopefully Maddie can carry us pretty far into the tournament. Hopefully we could face UConn again for the 4th time this year.
Yeah.
And beat them. That'd be
They
sick.
can't beat us 4 times, right?
I don't think so.
I personally picked Villanova to win the women's bracket.
Well, who
Absolutely.
else picked Villanova?
Joe
Biden.
Joe
did,
Biden.
So
Yeah.
it's got to be right.
But I definitely had the Villanova UConn Final Four revenge arc for Villanova.
That'll be a good game.
But yeah, I mean, March Madness, I've always enjoyed it. Do I pick my picks based on anything other than vibes? No.
No.
But is that okay? Yes,
Absolutely.
it's March Madness.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. And usually I do, like, decently with my bracket. So far, not this year, which is, upsetting. But I picked Baylor to win for no other reason besides while I was filling out my bracket, I just had them keep going. Like, there wasn't it just happened. I don't really have an explanation for it. So if they win, I guess play this clip back and I told you all. But it's probably not going to
We'll
happen.
keep the tapes.
Based on my results so far, I don't really have much confidence in my bracket. But the women's, I mean, we're at Villanova. So this is the first year that I can remember that the women have made the tournament and the men have not, which is like, woohoo, women's sports, yay, as I'm the only woman on this podcast, but that's fine. So, thank you, Margo. But yeah, so, I mean, and the Villanova women, they're not just in the bracket, like,
Right.
they're one of, like, they're a 4 seed, which
We're
is
hosting.
pretty damn good. We're hosting at the Finn this weekend, which is very exciting. I'm working in the ticket office, so if anybody's going to the game, look to the left in the window and give me a little wave.
They won't see this by then.
James has no faith in my editing speed, but he's probably right. But yeah, so what do you guys think about the women's bracket too? Like, you've kind of given your thoughts on the men. What about the women?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really hard time because I was looking at, like, I think it's like 538 where you look at, like, all the percentages of who's projected to win in each matchup, and I looked on the men's side, and I think the highest was, like, 22%. I think it was Houston had the highest percentage, and you look on the women's side, and it's South Carolina had a 68% chance of winning the whole tournament. As a math person, I was like, all right, these are too high odds for me not to pick them, so I went with them. I mean, I have Villanova making a very deep run. I'm going to make it a little bit, like, realistic. I don't know that we can make it all the way. Obviously, I'd welcome that, but I made a business decision to go with South Carolina, and then if I get burned and Villanova makes it farther, then they make it farther.
You're gonna get burned.
I
100%.
listen.
Not
I
if,
think
but-
I think a Villanova Final Four appearance seems right after the men made it last year. I think the women's team definitely has an opportunity to get through their side of the bracket and get to the Final Four. I think that'd be a very good success.
Yeah, I think USC is a realistic option as well. I mean, what's the star player's name? Do you know?
Is it Aaliyah Boston?
That sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar. Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure that's who it is.
I guess I know that she is almost better in every statistical category than Maddie Seegers. So
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy
That's very
considering
hard
how
to do.
yeah. And she's at USC. They're already a powerhouse, at least in women's. I always see them in the brackets. I mean, I don't know that much about it, but they definitely have a good shot to win. And obviously UConn is always, an option, but hopefully we beat them so we don't have a chance to make it to the finals.
Me personally, I'm not in the business of picking against the Villanova women's team, so I do have them going all the way. I decided to pick against South Carolina in spite of the odds because it's been quite a while since any women's team won the championship back-to-back, and why is this year going to be any different, especially if it means that opens the door for Villanova to win. So that's what I'm rolling with. Maddie Seeger's taking them all the way. And I do have Iowa knocking off South Carolina in the Final Four, so there's a hot take for you.
All right.
There you go.
Well, happy March Madness season, everybody. Best of luck to all of you in your brackets. Moving on to NFL free agency. What's going on there? Educate me. I'm not following it really.
Yeah, so big news is Aaron Rodgers again. Everyone's questioning whether he wants to play at all, whether he wants to play with the Packers. Obviously, they had last year where they went through a similar thing with the Packers, and then he eventually said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna come back." Obviously, he had his little break, and then he came back and decided that he did want to play football, and that it will be with the Jets. Made my dad very happy, temporarily probably, but
Is your dad a Jets fan?
he's a big Jets fan. So, Dad, Aaron Rodgers is coming. I don't know for how long, but he's gonna be there. But basically, he gave the Jets a laundry list of things that he wants to have happen. So, like, he wants the number 12 unretired. Obviously, Joe Namath had the number 12 retired for the Jets.
I wonder how Joe Namath feels about that.
He
he approached Aaron Rodgers and said, "You can have it." I think.
Oh, so
interesting.
So
there
that
you
was
go.
that was a while ago that he was like, if Aaron Rodgers wants to come to the Jets, number 12 is all him.
So there you go.
Interesting.
So that was one of them, and then he wanted a list of free agents that he wanted signed. So I think Randall Cobb was on that list, Mercedes Lewis. There's another
Alan
Lazard.
Lazard.
Alan
Who they
Lazard,
already
who they
signed.
did get,
Yeah.
and then he also wants Odell Beckham Jr., which I don't know that the Jets are going to want to do that. I mean, personally, I don't think I would pay him the 20, 25 million or whatever OBJ wants. He's a great football player, but coming off an injury and not playing last year, I don't think I'd be in a position to pay him all that money. But that's what Aaron Rodgers wants, and if the Jets want to be good, they should probably sign Aaron Rodgers and get him what he wants. Obviously, he didn't get what he wanted in Green Bay, and they didn't really have a great season. I mean, they turned it on towards the end, but I think at the end of the day, he's going to be on the Jets for 2 seasons max. He might not even play there beyond next year. So, what do you guys think? I mean, I think they are not going to win the AFC East. They'll definitely be a wild card team, I think, with Aaron Rodgers, especially with the defense. But
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, to go off his whole wish list, I think that it's less that he wants specific players because, like, let's be real, he doesn't need Randall Cobb, Mercedes Lewis right now. They're so old. I think it's more that he wants to see how much power he has over this organization. 'Cause with the Packers, it was always they would never get him a wide receiver. They'd be drafting backup quarterbacks instead. So he wants to see how much power he has with the organization, which he didn't really have over the Packers, which he was on for how long was he on that team? Like,
I don't know.
A long
Crazy
time.
long
15
time.
years.
As long as
and
I
he
can
led them
remember.
to a ring, right? He
Yep.
had multiple MVPs, and he still did not get what he wanted with that team. So I think that's more what he was aiming for, and they got Lazard, who is actually a decent receiver, I think. Cobb and Lewis, if it happens, whatever, they're not playing. OBJ is not going to happen. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think with that team, you got Garrett Wilson there, offensive rookie of the year, and Elijah Moore if he stays and if he gets involved more. I think that, and plus that defense is ridiculous.
Right.
I think they could be a wild card team, but could compete for the division as well.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit on a lot of great points about the Jets, but what I'm honestly a little more interested in seeing is what happens in the NFC now, because you've had Aaron Rodgers leading the NFC this offseason. You have Tom Brady leading the NFC this offseason when he retired. You have the fall of the Rams last year. There's such a shift in power from the NFC towards the AFC. I mean, in the NFC you have the Eagles and maybe the Niners. And I don't think there are any surefire, like, really good teams in the NFC other than that, with all the turnover that's happening on a lot of those rosters. In the AFC, you have, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, Dolphins, now the Jets maybe. There's a lot of really, really good teams. The Jaguars, if they can keep putting it together. There's a lot of good stuff out in the AFC versus the NFC, so I'm just interested to see how this continued shift of power is going to play out across the league.
Absolutely.
You left out a team, the Giants. It's got Darren Waller. They're gonna make a run next year. You'll see.
I don't know. I just hope all the money that they paid Daniel Jones is worth it, and not paying Saquon to a long-term deal. But
Yeah, we'll see.
all right.
Oh, well, thank you for educating me, educating the audience on all of that
There you go.
football stuff. Yay. Okay. That is all we had planned, although I can't help but notice that Brad is wearing his NASCAR hat, so I'm kind of scared to ask him why he's wearing it, but
Are you asking if? Are you
why
asking
are you
why?
wearing the NASCAR?
Well, I mean, 2 things. One, this was an early birthday present for my sister, so shout out to you, Em. She didn't know
Happy
she was.
birthday.
Well, it's not till April, but she didn't know she was gonna be home because she's playing softball. So, early birthday present there, and then I figured I'd wear it because we're talking about sports.
Okay.
NASCAR is the best one, so I figured it mixed perfectly. So I mean, if you're gonna let me talk about NASCAR, I'm going to, but if you don't want me to, I'll.
James is going like this, so.
All right, looks like it's a no today. I don't know.
It feels like you got your NASCAR minute in the hat explanation, so I feel like we just leave it there.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. It's okay. Well, if you don't go into NASCAR, then I won't go into tennis.
Oh, you can go into tennis.
Deal.
I have no problem with that.
I feel like we could probably just wrap it up
We
here.
can-
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. It's funny because I'm talking to the cameras, but also the rest of my lovely sports department is behind the cameras, so I'm also speaking to them. But thank you guys for joining me today at the table, and thanks everyone for watching. Happy March Madness again, and hopefully your March is only mad in a good way. All right, bye everyone. Oh wow, we get applause today.
Live studio applause.